Welcome to Saving Grace, Episode 3. The man my sister loves doesn't exist. A made-up name, a made-up business, made-up pictures. But here's what I didn't show you. This scammer doesn't work alone. He's part of an organized criminal enterprise executed at an industrial scale. Over the next 2 episodes, I'm going to show you how the operation works and why almost any lonely person could get chewed up exactly as Grace did. There's no one closer to my sister than me. Her husband passed away several years ago. She never had any children. 2 things about what I'm about to show you give me a pit in my stomach. The first, while I knew that Charles existed, I believed the situation was under control. I had no idea he had already tapped into her assets and no idea of the frequency and magnitude of the money that was flowing. The second, the sheer volume of it. We're not talking about a few transactions. We're talking about regular trips to the bank, multiple account movements, a sustained effort over 2 years. My sister was being trained, without knowing it, to be drained. She deeply believes that Charles cares about her as she actively destroys her own financial security. It's hard to sit with. I try to be objective as I sit here listening to the list of reasons for needing money. If I didn't know it had happened, I would say the storyline is absurd, especially against the backdrop of Charles supposedly being a successful business person who traveled to South Africa to perform specific contracted work. Where's his money, his resources, his funding? Your takeaway should not be an indictment of Grace's intelligence. This is a testament to how effective their conditioning is. At a high level, the scammer playbook is just common sense. After establishing mutual interest, affection, and trust, they play upon the human emotion of wanting more. Only then were problems presented. By the time the problems arrived, Grace wasn't evaluating a stranger. She was helping someone she was coming to care about, someone who was giving her something she hadn't felt in a long time. That's not a character flaw. That's a human condition. That's the trap working exactly as designed. There's always a reason. It started in December of 2023. They met on a dating site. As we discussed in episode 1, within days, he moved the conversation to email and phone. He was a busy man, but he always found time for his sugar. He would be traveling on business for 6 weeks, and he promised they'd be together as soon as he got home. Then came the first crisis. Upon arrival in South Africa, his taxi driver was robbed. Charles fled the cab, leaving behind his wallet, phone, and computer. He was stranded with nothing. Apple gift cards solved that problem. Then came the construction project. He needed a computer to redo the structural designs. Again, gift cards would work. Then a supplier needed a deposit to get the project moving. Cashier's check to his accountant would fix that. Then warmer clothes. The weather at the job site was brutal. Then rent. He couldn't access his own funds from overseas. Each ask had a story. Each story made sense to Grace. And each one arrived inside a love letter. Not a transaction, a conversation between 2 people who cared about each other. Then the Caltex project, equipment for the job site, big money wired through a supposed accountant. Then his client company sued him for God knows what. The court didn't just rule against him, they threw him in detention. Of course. Of course. He needed lawyers. He needed to pay court fines. He needed money just to survive. Attorney's fees, immigration settlement fees, court-ordered fines. Then came the final payment. There was always a final payment. Big money again. Wire it or send it through Coinbase. He'd walk her through every step. And then he would be home. Finally home. Almost. At the airport, they discovered his passport had expired. Back into detention. Remember that children's game, Chutes and Ladders? This was the real-time version of it. Every time Grace got him to the top of the ladder, a chute was waiting. New lawyers, new fines, more food, more medicine, then an operation. And once you have an operation, you have complications. And complications need medicine. And then there are more complications, more operations, more medicines. All chutes, no ladders. He never asked my sister for money. Every single time he handed her a problem, Grace solved it. Because that's what you do for your partner. And he made sure Grace understood that is exactly what they were when he wanted money. By the time the amounts became extraordinary, Grace wasn't writing checks to a stranger. She was solving problems with the man she thought she loved. That's exactly where they needed her to be. And that's exactly where they needed her to be. Their system couldn't be more straightforward. Step 1, cultivate the victim. Step 2 is get the victim to send money through one of their channels that could not be traced. Apple gift cards are a great choice because they can be $2,000 per card. They're anonymous, they're irreversible, and untraceable. They're readily available. Scratch up a code and send it. Once it's gone, it's gone. No dispute process, that's it. Then cashier's checks, larger amounts, routed routinely through a third party. Then wire transfers, bigger still, then cryptocurrency. He asked Grace to open a Coinbase account, send her a sign-up link, and a YouTube tutorial walking her through identity verification step by step. Good luck with that. Grace found it confusing. That was fine. They had another option ready. Think about that. Every time a payment channel got flagged or shut down, a new one appeared, ready to go, already mapped out. This is a system adapting, not a man improvising. Detective Jeff Brennan, the fraud investigator on this case, confirmed it directly. The money was never going to one man. Every dollar went to a U.S.-based account first, held by someone else, then moved again, specifically designed to make it untraceable before it ever left the country. Grace never sent money to Charles, not once. In 2 years, not a single dollar went directly to the man she believed she loved. Every payment went to intermediaries, people with U.S. bank accounts, U.S. addresses, U.S. identities. This is not improvisation. This is infrastructure. The banks. A month before any of this came to a head, I walked into both of Grace's banks, Chase and Wells Fargo. I handed them letters citing the Senior Safe Act, federal law that gives banks explicit authority to place a hold on suspicious wire transfers when elder financial exploitation is suspected. It also gives employees full immunity when they report it in good faith. The branch manager at Wells Fargo looked me in the eye and let me know it's her money. That was the response from a manager at a bank who had already wired a couple $100,000 to highly suspicious characters. In case my point is not clear, the bank manager at the Wells Fargo in Scottsdale at the corner of Mountain View and 90th Street could not have cared less about my sister or the fact that I had active power of attorney papers on file at that bank. After my notification cost my sister over $75,000. Chase didn't respond this way. Chase saw the pattern on their own, without a letter from me, without a formal complaint. Their VP and private client advisor shut down the wire transfers and personally instructed the front desk to flag any wire Grace tried to send. Nobody asked them to. They just did the right thing. Grace had told me that she really didn't like the people at Chase. She said they were not very cooperative, difficult to work with. Well, now I know why. While Chase was cutting her off, Wells Fargo was giving her a key fob so she could send wires from home. That's their version of customer service, protecting elders. The bank that protected her felt like the obstacle. The bank that enabled her felt like a partner. Go figure. A month later, Wells Fargo processed a wire transfer to one of the money mules. I called Detective Brennan the same day it left. The detective called Lakeview, Arizona Police Department, and they showed up just as the money mule named Bonnie was getting the money, and she answered the door. At first she denied any involvement, then changed her mind and admitted what she was doing. The money was recovered, and Grace was so thankful that she turned around and sent the money back to Charles through a different mule. Bonnie has since left the state. Wells Fargo could have helped preserve Grace's assets. They had the law on their side. They had immunity. They had a letter from me sitting in their file. The branch manager knew exactly what was being asked. It's her money. If apathy has a face, I saw it at that bank. And I want to take a moment to speak. I want to take a moment to speak directly to you. If you have an elderly parent, a relative, anyone who could be vulnerable to this, have a conversation with their bank about how seriously they take elder financial protection. It won't matter to you until the day it does. I found out the hard way. We've covered a lot of ground today. The money, how it moved, who moved it, and the institutions that were supposed to stop it. In the next episode, I'm going to show you the paperwork, the documents that they built to keep Grace believing. A fake check, a fake court document, and one link in a website footer that cracked the whole operation open. I'm Ken. I'm not a detective. I'm a brother. If you know someone who needs to see this, share it now. This is Saving Grace, Surviving Evil. I'll see you in episode 4.